Well, that was a relatively quick game, and I'm kind of glad that that game ended relatively quickly and there was no stoppage time in both halves because let's be honest, this was not a good game to watch whatsoever. And if this was the appetizer of what we're going to see tomorrow, where the season is going to begin, this was definitely a very underwhelming appetizer. But in the end, the crew was able to get a 1-0 win against Real Esteli and able to win 5-0 over the two-leg and on the aggregate score, and I'll mention later why exactly this win actually is very important to the crew overall in this competition. But for the crew coming into this game, as expected, they were going with a heavy rotated squad. I mean, Caleb Porter kind of mentioned that they, knowing the fact that there is that important game against the Union on Sunday, they decided to kind of rotate the squad, and also knowing the fact that after what happened in the first leg, and also between the time that the first leg has happened, where they've already had a lot of injury concern. That's why Caleb Porter decided to go a little bit safe and just put some of his reserve player and also players second in the depth chart to get to be in the starting 11 in this game. But unfortunately for the crew, 5 minutes into this game, you know how I talk about how they have some injury concern. Well, they're now going to have even more injury concern in another player that could be end up in the IR, as Adam Morris was actually subbed off what looks like a knee injury. And I gotta say, I don't know what they did to the turf at that historic Crew Stadium, but whoever is in charge of it, yeah, they did not do a good job whatsoever. It looks really kind of rough, almost like a Central American kind of turf with the way that they did. And what happened here was, I think Morris kind of got his knee got caught in the turf. It definitely did not look pretty. He did kind of start to receive some treatment. You're thinking maybe he's gonna come back in, but ultimately he did get subbed off. And then just 10 minutes later, he actually got stretcher off to the locker room. And anytime when you see a player get stretcher off, that is definitely not a good sign. But if you're a Crew fan, you hope that isn't really a sign where maybe Adam Morris might have a long-term injury like a torn ACL, and hope that it's just going to be a minor injury that keep him out for a bit. And also for Aiden Morris personally, I hope he does not suffer for a big injury, because this was supposed to be the year where he looked like he might get more minutes, and maybe a year where he could really show the potential that he of course shown it last season, and especially in MLS Cup. Now, for the first 20 minutes, yeah, it was a very uneventful game, and it got so uneventful that the commentator in this game, which was Jake Zippins and Mo Edu, they basically talk about all the historical events that happened at the historic Crew Stadium. They mentioned the first game ever at this first ever soccer specific stadium in the US, and they also mentioned the DOSA 0 moment that the US had against Mexico in a World Cup qualifying. But yeah, it was so uneventful that Columbus, they actually did not get their first shot until the 31st minute, and they actually didn't even get their first shot on goal, I think, until part of the second half of this game. But as we expected, it was 0-0 heading into halftime, and in the second half, Columbus started to bring on part of their cavalry, and Caleb Porter decided to maybe bring on some of his starters so that they can maybe get a goal in this game and win this one. So he decided to summon Lucas Ayarian at halftime. Columbus did start to get a little bit better and tried to press to get that go-ahead goal in the first 10 minutes of the second half, but to no avail. And that after that, Columbus looked like they were back to the way that they were in the first half, where they were just very lackluster going forward and having a lot of trouble to break down this very resilient Real Esteli defense. But in the 80th minute, BWP did had a good chance to hit that one in, but unfortunately he just missed wide. But then 5 minutes later, he would score his first goal with the Columbus Crew, as he scored from Zairian to give the Crew a 1-0 lead. That was a beautiful pass from Zairian to split both Esteli defender and give it to BWP, who went through on goal. And when he went through on goal like that and get some open space, yeah, he's not going to miss that. And yeah, just like that, the Crew, of course, gets the 1-0 lead, and that would be the final score of this game. As the shots in this game, 11 shots compared to 5 that Real Esteli has. Both team had 2 shots on goal. Both team also had 2 shots that was off target, and block shots, 5 block shots compared to 1 that Real Esteli has, and Columbus dominate the possession with 60% possession compared to 40% possession that Real Esteli has. And now talk about why exactly this is actually a huge win for Columbus, despite the fact that, coming into this game, they don't necessarily need to win this game. Even if they lose like 2 or 3-0, they would have still moved on into the quarterfinal. But the reason why they kind of had to win this game and why Caleb Porter really started to bring on the cavalry and trying to win this one was since this season with CCL and the final being a single leg or a single leg kind of final, and that the team that hosts the final will be the team that gets the most point out of those six games that they play during the knockout round. That's why it is very important that Columbus win this game, because if Columbus did not win this game, they would only get 4 points out of this two-legged affair. And if they do go deep into the tournament, this is kind of one of those games that you think that they probably should win, knowing the fact that if they do go deep into the tournament, and maybe there could be a situation that they're very close in terms of points total out of those 6 games that they get themselves to the final, and that the other team that they're facing might have got a better points total, or maybe even one or 2 points more in terms of the total points total to host the final. They're going to look back at this game as the one that kind of got away from them. But either way, that is pretty much it for this review. I know this is a relatively quick review because, again, there wasn't really a lot that happened in this game. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this game? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.